guys, welcome back to the Big Sew Along. I'm Ginny, and as always, I thank you very much for choosing to spend some time with me. Last week, we were talking about Japanese sewing patterns, and I had two gals who left recommendations on that video for nothing to do with Japanese sewing patterns, but they were both about stores that I had never heard of. One store, Sally recommended checking out a store called Plumo, P-L-U-M-O, and Robin recommended a store called, Plumo I think is in England, I'm not sure. And Robin suggested a store, I'm going to say it's called Miel, M-I-E-L, that is outside of Tokyo. I looked at both of those stores, and the styles are just so cool. I can't believe that I hadn't heard of either of those stores before. I just wanted to share that with you guys, so I will put links for that down below just so you can check them out for yourselves. I already have like 16 things at Plumo that I want to buy, and Miel, I couldn't even focus long enough to decide on what I wanted. I'm not going to order any of it, but I was just in love with a bunch of stuff. Okay, speaking of Japanese sewing patterns, what I'm showing you today is this dress. Put a picture of it up right here. This is from another Japanese sewing book of mine, and I've had this book for a pretty long time. I believe the designer's name is Tokiko Fukukawa, but I'm pretty sure that I'm not pronouncing that correctly, so I'll just put it on the screen here so you can see what it says. This book is mostly, it's actually all just shirts. There are a few little like accessories in this book. I think there's like a flower brooch, and there's a tie, and there are a couple of belts, I think. But mostly it's shirts, and for some reason I am suddenly really into a shirt. It might be the season, or maybe that's like a trend. Maybe I've just been seeing it other places and I'm kind of into it now. I don't know. Anyways, I made this shirt here, which I think is called Noon Number 5. Let's see. Yeah, Noon Number 5. It is a sleeveless long shirt dress with a back yoke and a hidden button placket. I just made this shirt out of a very inexpensive, a plain white cotton muslin that I got from, I'm pretty sure I got this from Dharma Trading when I was ordering some paints and stuff. And I specifically made this because I wanted to try painting, which I did. We talked about this a while back about painting on fabric and stuff. So this was really, since this fabric was inexpensive and I had never made this shirt pattern before, this was total experiment. I'm not unhappy with the results, but I did learn a few things. For my paint, I used Speedball, what's this called? The block printing ink. I have this, I think I got this in a package of like 4 or 6 colors. I think it might be red, blue, yellow, green, black and white, something like that. Anyways, that's what I have. And I was sort of inspired by my favorite Keith Haring like drawings to come up with just, I wanted to do something that was simple enough to not be like overly complicated from my first try. But I also really like things that are very graphic, so I went with sort of a Keith Haring-esque sort of feel. I like the way this shirt came out. I did have to play with the inks for a while. I tried adding more and less water. If it's got too much water, it bleeds a lot, which was a problem. If it's got not enough water, then it doesn't move at all. That's also a problem, so it took me a little while to figure that out. I also had to play around with a bunch of different brushes to get clean, crisp lines. I thought maybe like a really pointy brush would be the way to go, but most of my pointy brushes were just like, they had like little hairs sticking off the end, so I kept getting like some feathering at every point. And then I tried to go over it again, and pretty soon my line was like bigger than I wanted it to be. So I don't know if I just need to trim my brushes down or if I need to look for a different kind of brush. If you guys have a suggestion for that, I would love to hear it. I did use also a wider flat brush for filling in large spaces. I did the black outlines first, and then I did the red and yellow on my heart here. However, and it was pretty good, except that when I put the red and yellow in, it did make some of the black bleed a little bit. So I feel like I should have, once the black was dried, I should have pressed it and heat set it and then put more color on top of it, which I didn't do. I also, I'll show you a picture here. I don't know if you'll even be able to see it, but I laid this shirt out on a big piece of plastic that was like taped down to my cutting board, and I did the front first, and then I went to pick it up and flip it over, and of course the ink that was left on the plastic got picked up by my shirt, so now I have like some spots where there really shouldn't be any ink, but there are some ink. So I think on this one I will probably just cover that with a different image or something. In the future though, I was thinking what I would probably do is cut the pieces of my garment out and draw my images on them. In this case, I just used a heat erase pen, which was fine. I do also have just the kind that just disappears after a while, so either one of those I think worked just fine. I think if I cut the pieces out first and draw my images on and then paint them before I sew them together, it would be a lot easier. Except for my ones that go over seams, like this one here, which I would have to do after it's sewn together, but that's a lot easier than doing the whole thing after it's sewn together. Let me know what you guys think about that. I know a lot of you guys have done more painting and dyeing and stuff than I have, so any suggestions you have in regards to the order of doing it would be greatly appreciated. Okay. Yeah, so the shirt, I actually really like the shirt. I think it's too long. I think, let me just tell you guys, in this Japanese pattern book, there are 5 different sizes in this pattern book: small, medium, medium large, large, and what they usually in Japanese books is called large. So it would be like an extra large. On this particular pattern, I cut the medium large, so the one right in the middle. The patterns in this book are pretty generous size-wise, and that was another comment that I got last week, was that someone asked what the sizes were like because they heard that Japanese patterns tend to run small. If you're looking at like more tailored patterns, that does tend to be true. However, with oversized garments, I have not found that to be true. I found them to be pretty generous, actually. So that was a diversion. Sorry. What was I talking about? Oh, I said about this shirt dress. It's really long, and I thought that I would like that. I think it might be a little bit too long. Maybe it just needs to be an inch or two shorter. I didn't want to make it like knee length like I do in all of my things. I wanted it to be a little bit different. I think, although I'm pretty happy with like the painting overall, I thought that was pretty fun, and I'm definitely more confident in doing it now on another garment. In this particular one, I feel like it doesn't have enough painting in it, so maybe I need to add a couple more images, a couple more arrows to the front and to the back. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Again, I'd appreciate any feedback. So I think since I started this, I mean, I probably should have done this the other way around, because I have 2 thrift store shirts that I was thinking of after I started working on this that I thought would be really fun to paint on, and I probably would do a little like sewing to style them a little differently. They're both men's shirts, so they're considerably big on me. And I thought maybe I would use some paints to sort of mix those up a little bit. It occurred to me after I started this shirt that I probably should have started on the thrift store shirts and then moved on to the one that I spent 4 hours making. But whatever. Live and learn. Yeah, so I have 2 shirts. I think that I'm gonna work on painting those next. Anyways, I feel like I'm yammering today, and I apologize for that. I have a big sewing project for a client this week, so I probably won't be able to get very much sewing done for myself or for you guys, but I do have, my brain has been working overtime on fall plans, so we will talk about that next week. Until then, I wish you all happy sewing.